grapes. Check this out.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Youth Group Reunion Tour podcast. I'm your host, Mikey B.
I'm Jared, JC.
And we are here to talk about your favorite podcast of Christian culture from the 90s through the 2000s and a little hint from today and yesterday. So we cover all kinds of grounds.
We're talking about music, movies, general experiences, events, anything that, you may have remembered from your time in youth group or maybe heard about and are curious what other people remember about it, might jog your memory.
Yeah. So one thing I've been thinking about recently was an activity that we used to do that was separate from youth group. If you remember, youth group had things like extracurriculars.
Yes.
It wasn't just youth group.
This was, I believe, at the time on Thursday nights, which would eventually become senior high youth group, but at the time was not.
Correct. Yeah, and it's important for people who maybe didn't grow up in youth group, that maybe you're just curious about youth group culture.
This one's going to be weird.
This one is going to be a little bit weird. And
real homeschool nonsense.
You know what? It was a good experience. I wasn't a hardcore person in this, but
neither was I.
I spent enough time in it to be able to feel like I know what I'm talking about. We do know some people who are world-renowned in this art.
Yes.
And it is an art.
So we do know some people. One, I talked to his brother, and he said that he thought his brother may have set a record at the time for it in nationals. And then we definitely know other people that have been to nationals for this and possibly placed. I don't know for sure, but we're going to have one of them on joining us later that can give us a little more background. He was there. He was in the midst of it.
Okay. You might be wondering what we're talking about. We're not talking about Frisbee.
In case you haven't read the title of the podcast episode yet.
We're not talking about kill ball. We're not talking about capture the flag. We are talking about the world's greatest sport.
The sport of kings.
The sport of kings.
First and second
champions
kings.
And angels. Bible quizzing. Bible quizzing.
So I just want to say real quick, Mike and I both, we were in high school. We competed on what was called Academic Challenge, which was a local, the local TV station would invite teams from all of the high schools to do like basic trivia. And one time you had graduated at this point, Mike. Mike's 1 year older than me. This is when I was a senior. And I was playing your high school in this game. Uh-oh. Absolutely trouncing them because you weren't there. And as a joke, I decided to give your name as an answer to a question because so I wonder, this was on TV. This is on local television. It would air on like Saturday nights on the local TV. And it was basically like Jeopardy. You didn't have to answer in the form of a question, but I think in this one I may have just as a joke. And there were in this particular round, there was no like penalty for guessing wrong, and no one on my team was going to guess, and no one on the other team was guessing. And I like looked over to my team just to make sure no one like was thinking about it. So I just buzzed in, and I was like, again. And the people on your team, they were taken aback. They visibly reacted. They were like, "What? Like why is he guessing that?"
I don't think I knew that story.
Yeah, you were away at college. You probably didn't see it, and I don't know if I.
Yeah, sorry, I was not spending my Saturday nights at Grove City.
Cross state lines, trying to pick up Youngstown movie TV stations. All this to say basically is that Mike and I are very adept at trivia, and we were both very good at it. So obviously, the next step was to go to Bible quizzing and do Bible trivia. I was not good at Bible trivia.
Yeah, so I was kind of jokingly calling it a sport, but I think it's important for people who don't know what this is.
Yeah,
it's not just a quiz show.
So when you would do Academic Challenge, you would have a buzzer, like on Jeopardy, in your hand, press down the button to ring in. That was not the case for Bible quizzing. In Bible quizzing, the buzzers were pads that you sat on. And the way that you activate them is you literally had to jump out of your seat. And when the weight came off of the buzzer, that would ring you in. So it was, in addition to being like having to know the answer, you also had to have the fastest reflexes. So people would like sit and have like the least amount of weight possible that they could, like up on their toes, to try and be able to get up. And most of the time they wouldn't even stand all the way up. They'd just kind of like lift their butt off of it. But if you were, really excited about it, you'd you'd jump out of your seat and stand all the way up.
Yeah, and I really want to get our expert witness here in to be able to describe the technique. Yeah, because I really remember like the really good people would like explode like Michael Phelps like through the water. You know what I mean? Like they would
Phelpsian.
they would. That's
sponsored by Under Armour.
That's the only way I can describe it, right? You know, when a swimmer like pushes off really hard, or like a basketball player is about to go up for a dunk and they like have to like explode,
gather themselves and explode up.
Yeah, there's definitely like some hip drive in that, and they didn't actually make us work out for it, right? We didn't have to.
No, it was not.
No, it wasn't physical.
No.
But there was a component of that.
Yes,
that really
I
helped.
definitely think I would have been better at this if I could have had a hand buzzer.
Sure.
Because there were definitely like, so I remember there were basically two types of questions in Bible quizzing. All right, there was like repeat the verse word for word, and then there was also like they would give you like a trivia question. They were like, in chapter 7, who did Jesus, whatever. Those ones I was money at because they were regular trivia questions. Mm-hmm. The word for word ones I was not good at.
Yeah. So just to back up for a little explanation, they would give you a book of the Bible or like
for the entire season.
For the entire season, and each meet that you would do, right? You would do like a regular season of meets.
Would cover a chapter or possibly multiple chapters of that book from the Bible.
Exactly. So, you would have like 1 Corinthians chapters 1 through 5, like the first week. Mm-hmm. And then the next time you do chapters 6 through 10.
Yeah. And I think it always encompassed the previous chapters as well. So they would generally add on to it. It wasn't just like, the first meet was chapter 1. The second meet was chapters 1 and 2. The third was 1, 2, and 3, or whatever it was.
Yeah, you're right. I think it was.
And I'm pretty sure that's what it was, because I think by the time you got to the end, like to nationals or whatever, it was the entire book was fair game.
Yeah, which made it super hard. Yeah. I think that the other type of question that you're forgetting, that I was a little better at this one than some of the other ones, word for word was tough, but they would start reading the sentence from the Bible,
finish it,
and then you had to finish the sentence exactly word for word.
That was the most common type of question, I think, because it was usually, and like the people that were really good at it, they would get it like on the first syllable, not even finish the word.
Right.
It was like they would say like maybe like the chapter of the book or something, so like from John 8. Or something, and they would start to say the word, and someone would already be on their feet, and then you had to finish it.
Right. Yeah.
It was nuts.
And I believe that you had to get it exact word for word perfect, right? You had to use like the same translation. Did you?
Well, there was a designated translation. It was NIV.
Yeah.
And they gave you like a book that was just that chapter, just that book of the Bible in NIV, so that there was no like excuse of like, oh, I know it in King James, or I know it in ESV or whatever. There was like it was, played in NIV.
Yeah. It was very much emphasized like
NIV 84 for anyone interested.
Only a biblical and religious studies would be able to describe to the difference here.
Yep.
Of course. I'm just a pleb. I just remember NIV and ESV, and I forget the difference. I just know ESV is the better one now, I guess.
It is.
So
we're an ESV podcast. Mark it.
All right. Mark it, book it, ESV. Anyways, I studied with NIV. And so I guess I wanted to, before we get into some more of the details, what motivated you to join Bible quizzing?
My mom made me.
That's a good reason.
I
can't argue with
I think it's I couldn't. As a 6th grader, I could not. I believe it was just like my mom wanted me to like be gone and do some stuff. And like also I did a lot of stuff. I did in my high school yearbook, I was in the most pictures of anyone. Like when they'd call us down to take yearbook pictures on one day for like groups or whatever, it wasn't worth me going back to class because I was going to get called again in another 10 minutes or whatever. And just like, so they would just let me stay down there for like 3 periods. And they'd be like, all right, band, office monitors, library monitors, football.
So you're saying
drama club,
you had to
Italian
supplement
club.
that busy schedule with more busy things to
Yes,
do.
things outside of school.
This high school isn't enough to
Yeah.
have 20 clubs I'm a part of. I need a few more, including youth group and
So to
Bible
be fair,
quizzing.
I only did Bible quizzing in 6th and 7th grade.
Okay.
So by the time I got to high school, I was no longer doing it. I was allowed to quit in 7th grade. I was no longer good at. I got into the big leagues where the people were good, and I was no longer into it because I couldn't get anything right.
Yeah. So that was actually an experience that I had too. I liked it because it was competitive. I mean, at the time, I liked Academic Challenge,
Yeah.
Prep Bowl, things like that.
Love Prep Bowl.
You may recall that I do have a little bit of spelling bee experience. So
Everyone, go ahead, plug it. Tell everyone what rank you finished in the National Spelling Bee.
I don't remember what rank specifically.
Well, in the
I'm
top-
afraid of getting it wrong now.
You were in the top, whatever, right? 200, 100?
Maybe, yeah. 2004.
Won the Trumbull County Spelling Bee.
That is, I did go
to get there, yeah.
I went to the National Spelling Bee.
Yeah.
Yes, that's my nerd moment. So I was pretty deep into nerd culture. And actually, I'd be curious about the intersection between Bible quizzers and spellers.
It's got to be.
It's got to be high. If you're homeschooled, like you just had no chance. And to me, as someone who went to public school, when I was competing against even the people on our team, I just found out that I was really bad. And I realized that the people I was competing against, even at our own church, were spending all their week just reading the Bible.
It was homeschool dominated.
Homeschool absolutely dominated. And you know, what parent doesn't want their kid reading the Bible instead of like, hey, you can put that in math or English.
Yeah.
It accounts for all subjects because there's science and literature and all these different subjects. I don't know how they made it work with their homeschool curriculum. But yeah, I just got the feeling that, they spent a lot of hours reading it. And for me, I just was trying to squeeze it into the end of a busy schedule.
Yeah,
and
I had Prep Bowl to study for. I had to read, I think in 7th grade, I think it was The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was one book. The Ransom of Red Chief, I think, was one of the books.
Okay.
I want to say Call of the Wild, maybe. Sign of the Beaver was one of the books, but I think that was
I remember those.
I think that was in 6th grade.
Those are Newbery Award winners, I'm pretty sure. They're the classics.
Yep. And so those were when we were doing Prep Bowl, Academic Challenge, those are basically the same thing.
Yeah.
We had to prepare those books. So we were doing that instead of Bible school. And I was good at Prep Bowl.
Yeah.
I was as good at Prep Bowl books as these people were good at Bible quizzing.
Yeah.
Like I would get it like first word, finish the sentence.
Looking back on it, it really was an interesting thing for a lot of different reasons because I felt like I understood the trivia questions better. That like you can ask them in different ways, and I would be able to maybe answer them right.
Yeah.
But if you ask me the Bible verse, it may be that you have to get that word for word exact. Yeah. And I just really struggled knowing and then they are able to finish the whole sentence based off of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I found that kind of frustrating.
Definitely. Like when we get our friend in here, he'll be able to, speak to that more. He was good. He was elite. He was in the highest level of competition. I think I dropped out when I got to B League or whatever. The reason I know that is because we're going to move into another segment here where we're going to talk about the dumb names that people would give their Bible quizzing team. And I only remember one of the names of my teams, and it was when I made it into Bees. And I don't think we went with this, but I wanted to call us the Hot Bees. Okay? And the reason I wanted to do that was because, here's why. At the time, there was a Homestar Runner cartoon that had just come out, and in it, Strong Bad lights Bub's foot on fire, and he says, "Yow, hot mama." And then the cheat comes out and puts a beehive on his other foot. And he goes, "Yow, hot bees." And I thought that was hilarious. Also, Homestar Runner is hilarious. And I wanted to be called Hot Bees because it was something that Bubs said on Homestar Runner. And surprisingly, no one on my team wanted to be called the Hot Bees, and I'm bitter about it to this day.
That's a really good and deep reference. I mean,
One
it
of
wasn't
my-
like you called it like the Strong Baddias or something.
One of my friends, shout out to Phil. Phil was on board. He was like, "I'll be the Hot Bees," and then I think there was like a girl on the team, and she was not into it, and she killed the dream.
Boo. All right.
Kaylee, I think it was Kaylee.
We're going to take a break here, and we're going to look up some of these team names and see if we can find out.
I do remember one of my brother's names. He was in the A level, and the basic name that they would give it. So our church had multiple teams. It was A1, A2, whatever, and then you'd name them, and they just kept A1. And then you would get shirts for your team. I don't know if you remember this.
Yeah, I do.
And their shirt was an A1 steak sauce parody. So it ended up being a decent name because they got a cool shirt, even though they just kept the basic name of A1. It was like Northmar A1.
That's awesome.
And then they had an A1 steak sauce shirt.
That's fun. It really is.
I don't know what the Hot Bees shirt would have been, but it never got to come to fruition.
Boo.
But we're gonna look up some of the team names of we have some national champions drawn up, so we're gonna pull up some of these names and we're gonna make fun of them. We'll be right back.
Okay, we're back. Had a great trip through the Bible quizzing websites.
Found out something exciting. Apparently the national tournament was last weekend, right?
Yeah. Last weekend. From the time that we are recording this is fresh off the presses.
So, Mike has looked at the results. I have not. He is going to read me some names, and I'm going to guess. First of all, we're going to make fun of those names. Then I'm going to guess who won that match based on the names alone. Now, the thing that you should know about Bible quizzing that we forgot until you looked this up is that it is not a 2-team event. It is 3 teams at once.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the other element is that you can quiz out.
Yes.
So,
which I just happen to remember that if you get a certain number of answers right, I think it was like 4 maybe, then you can no longer answer for your team.
Right.
And that someone else on your team is going to have to do it. And you can get answers wrong and you lose points. I think you can also error out. Is that correct?
You can, yes.
Yes. So you have to either if you are too good or too bad, you are no longer allowed to take part in the game.
Yeah, that's very interesting. It's like, you hit a triple-double and then they bench you. It's weird.
Yeah, so it was like, you were trying to get as many people on your team to quiz out as possible.
Very interesting. So I'm going to read you some names, and we'll see. These are the individual matches, and I'll try to pick from the later rounds.
Okay.
So
I know these are high school students, but I'm still going to make fun of them for their dumb names.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we have between the following groups: Baldy's Revenge, Consuming Fires, and Awake.
Okay, so we've got 2 that picked a funny name and 2 that picked super serious names.
Yes.
All right, so Baldy's Revenge is either going to be really good or absolutely terrible. I am gonna. What was it? Awake.
Yes.
Consuming fire. Okay. Question: What book was this on? What book of the Bible? I want to see if consuming fire is a reference to something that happened in the that particular book.
That is a good question. Let me see if I can find this.
Like if it was like like Exodus or something, and it's talking about the burning bush, consuming fire might be might give me a hint about if they're really good or not.
All right, let's see. Tournament info.
I usually remember it being New Testament books, though.
Yeah, it's definitely a New Testament book from what I see. I'm not 100% positive. Oh, Matthew.
Matthew, okay. All right. Book written to the Jews.
Yep.
For Jewish Christians. All right. So it's Awake, Consuming Fire, and Baldy's Revenge. right? Those are the names.
Yes,
Okay.
those are the names.
So I'm gonna guess that. I'm gonna say Awake came in third, Consuming Fire was second, and Baldy's Revenge is first. I'm gonna guess that they're really good.
Okay. Unfortunately, Awake was number 1.
So a complete opposite.
Yeah.
All
Baldy's was number 2.
Okay.
Consuming Fire number 3.
Okay.
We're not going to make fun of anybody here, but Consuming Fire and Baldy's Revenge ended up last place in this tournament.
Rip, rest in power.
Rest in power.
Get an
for
F in the comments for
Yep. Can we please get an F in the chat? Okay, so let's move on to another heat.
Yep.
This one was a pretty intense match. This went to overtime.
Oh, wow.
So this was a big deal. And we have the Brood of Vipers,
Okay. Edgy.
Fire, and the Gents.
Like G-E-N-T. Okay.
G-E-N-T-S.
All right.
Assume gentlemen.
Okay. That's giving off real neckbeard vibes for that one.
Hello, gentle sir.
I think all these dudes wore fedoras for this match.
I hope they did.
Can I get what was the final score? Don't tell me who had it, but what the scores were.
Sure. 90, 70, 10.
So one team got smoked.
Yes.
So I'm gonna guess that it was. I'm gonna guess the Gents came in last. I'm gonna guess Brood of Vipers was second, and Fire was first.
Jay, you're wrong again. Gents came in first. They pulled out the overtime clutch.
The fedoras did it.
They tipped their fedoras.
Malady
walked away.
My judge.
Yeah, my judge. Yeah, Fire was number 2,
Okay.
and then Brood of Vipers was third.
Wow, they only got one correct, or maybe they got a bunch correct and then errored and lost a bunch of points. We don't know.
All right, let's find. Okay, so this is a big one. Okay, so this was Ambition.
Okay.
Third Day.
Okay, so they just ripped off a band name.
And Riven.
Okay,
and
like Rivendell.
Riven. Riven.
All right. So what was the first one again?
Ambition.
All right, I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna say Third Day is last.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Riven is second and Ambition is first.
Okay. So the scores were Third Day with 30 in third place.
Got that one right.
Ambition, second place, 70. And Riven, a smoking 210.
200. Oh my gosh. Well, okay. Now I know if I see them come up later, I want to know that I got to vote for Riven.
Sure. Do you want to see another Riven one?
Sure. Yeah.
Fared against another team.
Yeah. Put me up and further into the tournament.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
This is a hot one.
Okay.
Riven, Revelation, and Moxie.
Moxie, okay. Revelation, lame. That's a lame name. That's just a book of the Bible. It's not even the book that you're doing. The other two names I don't mind. So I'm going to say Revelation, dead last. Lame name, dead last. Moxie. Well, I know that Riven is good, so I don't know anything else. I don't have any other information. I'm going to say Moxie 2 and Riven 1.
That's it.
Yes, I finally
100%.
got one.
You passed.
I finally got one.
The scores, Riven, 200. Moxie, 130. Revelation, dead last, 10.
10.
Yep.
Well,
so
couldn't think of a good enough name.
Yeah.
Couldn't expect him to get anything right.
So here are the top 5 from the tournament.
Okay, hold on.
Just
give it to me in no particular order.
No particular
and see
order.
if I can guess them.
Okay. Riven.
Okay.
Ambition.
Okay.
Revelation.
Okay.
Chosen.
Uh-huh.
Clay.
Riven's got to be number 1 because I know they played those other teams and they smoked them.
Yes, Riven is number 1.
Okay.
They destroyed them.
Okay.
Hit a 300-point round, I think I saw on here. So
everybody quizzing out. They had to put in subs so that someone could play.
Right.
What were the others? So after Riven was Ambition, and what were some other choices?
Ambition, Revelation, Chosen,
okay.
Clay.
I'm gonna go Clay number 2, Chosen Clay number 2, Ambition number 3, and what were the other 2 that I have left?
Clay.
Yeah.
And
Clay 4, and that other one 5.
Chosen.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were right, and I think it's
Yes.
probably because me mixing up the order. Yeah, so Riven, Revelation.
I can assure you I did not think that far ahead. I was just trying to remember the names. I couldn't possibly remember the order you gave them in and then try and unmix them.
That's perfect. I was trying to scramble them in my head. So Riven, Revelation, Ambition, Clay, Chosen. Some other names in there: Quick Trip, Messengers, Supernova, Dead BC, the Scurvy Dogs. There's Fire and also Consuming Fire, which should let you know how lame that is.
Over here.
Yeah, we have two teams that say. We also have a lot of verbs in here. I noticed deliverance or adverbs, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. Sustained, sanctified, unashamed, identity. Messengers.
This just sounds like you're naming the names of various youth groups.
Yeah, you're right.
We could do another podcast on youth group names, but that's
Definitely.
surely what it sounds like.
I think out of my favorite, if I had to pick one, I like Baldy's Revenge because it seems to be the slacker name.
It's the only funny one. Well, I liked Moxie. I liked Moxie. Moxie was good.
Moxie's pretty good. Yeah. Is that like a rough? It's just.
I think it's just the word Moxie.
It's just Moxie.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. So one of the things that you have to do in order to be a judge at the Bible Quizzers Fellowship meetup is you have to take an official test. Okay. And that test isn't on the books of the Bible. There's 3 roles, and one is a quiz master, one is a scorekeeper, and one is a timekeeper.
Okay. I have to imagine the test for timekeeper and scorekeeper is much easier than quiz master.
Yeah. So let's
just so everyone knows, I am a certified rugby referee.
Okay.
So I know laws. I've reffed some games in my day. So let's see how I can do on this quiz master.
Okay. All right. Let's go
test.
Quiz master.
All right. Let's do it.
How many quizzers may participate on a team?
I think the maximum is 4 and the minimum is 3.
Okay. We're going to have to ask our expert quizness person.
They don't have the answers on there? There's
no
the question?
They don't. They want you to be honest. There's no cheating. They don't want them to Google it and find out that the honesty and integrity of the Bible quizzing coach cheated and took his...
I don't ever remember having more than 4 people, but the rules could have changed since then.
Four sounds right to me.
Is it a multiple choice or just...
There's a multiple choice.
Yeah, give me the multiple choice.
Okay.
Is it just like 3, 4, 5, 6?
Okay, if a quizzer first attends a nationals at age 11, how old will they be at the last nationals they're eligible? 16, 17, 18, 19.
So they're saying that you can only go to nationals a certain number of times.
I think so.
Okay. So I'm going to go that in the Bible, 7 is an important number. I'm going to guess 7, so I'm going to guess 18.
Okay, that's fair. I don't know the answers to these, and I hope we get...
This segment is getting worse and worse by the question, but we're going to keep going.
All right. We already did this one. I know this one. How many teams compete at the same time in a quiz?
3.
It's
definitely
that 3. Yep. And here's a yes or no question.
Okay.
Can a quizzer go back and repeat part of a verse during a quote question?
They can, as long as they don't change anything. It's
spelling
bee rules.
Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. I'm going to ask some of these questions to our resident expert.
Okay.
Actually, we should call him right now, and we should figure out if he knows these things, if he's ready to be able to pass a regional or national tournament. I'm not, obviously, and it sounds like
I might be. We don't know. We don't know if I got those right or not, but
yeah. So let's get him in here and see what he says, and see if he remembers anything that we don't.
All right.
We'll ring him up in just a minute. Going to be seconds for you, but the agonizing moments, waiting, wondering if it will ever happen. We thought this might have to be scrapped as an episode, and so now I'm really excited.
All right, so without further ado, this is James. James, go ahead and say hi.
Hi everyone.
And James, if you could just give us a quick, maybe tell us how you know me and Mike.
Okay. Let me start with the one I met first, Jared. And I think there's a group in our church. It was like Boy Scouts but for church, is called Stockade.
Yeah.
And
We've talked about battalion before.
okay, so this is like the mini
potential future episode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is like the mini version of battalion. It's like for the little grade schoolers.
So I think what was it? Was it 5th and 6th grade, or was it lower? Was it third?
It went through
third
high
through
school,
6th?
didn't it?
Well, yeah. So what he's talking about is Stockade is for elementary,
Got it.
and then battalion is for 7th through 12th. I
Yeah.
think,
So
right?
battalion is to Boy Scouts as Cub Scouts is to Stockade.
Oh,
So it's
got
kind
it.
of like that. It's like the mini version.
Yes, yeah.
So
Was it 3rd through 6th, or was it only 5th and 6th? Do you remember?
Because I think there was a group.
Because I thought I don't remember being in it in 3rd grade, but I thought I was in 4th grade, and I for sure was in 5th and 6th, but I don't.
They might have let you in early if you were mature, and
Or just because I was huge.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I meant by mature.
That leads
You
into
had a beard in 3rd grade, and it's like, yeah, he's old enough to do it.
and a tail,
Yeah.
which leads me into what I was gonna say. When I first saw Jared, don't take this the wrong way, but he was like intimidating because he was like really loud. He was never shy, and he was always just like ready to speak up. He had this tail. His mom.
Let me just preface.
Okay,
this by
his
saying
mom
that
let him grow
this was-
out.
This is in the wake of the Phantom Menace, and I
Yeah.
thought
Oh, very
Obi-Wan Kenobi was cool.
So
and my
cool.
mom made a poor parenting decision and was like, "Yeah, you could grow a ponytail like Obi-Wan Kenobi, not like a real ponytail, but like a real skinny
Yeah,
one."
it was
Like a
just
rat
the,
tail.
it's like
Yeah,
the very bottom
exactly.
of the back.
Yes.
Just she let that grow out like 6 inches.
Yeah,
Jared,
and because
I
because
almost
I was
forgot about
and because
that.
I was like 9 years old and didn't make good decisions, and my mom was like, "It's fine." Yeah, so I had the dumb hair for like 2 years.
Well, it's definitely unique, and
It made you stand out. You met James.
yeah, I met him. I was intimidated, and I actually was a little bit scared to like talk to him, but he was.
Because I look like a Padawan,
Yeah.
or
He was going to put a force choke on you.
I think I was more shy, but my younger brother Dan I think he actually talked to you first and was like, and later on I was like, oh, that Jared guy who's like kind of like scary. I guess you're like scary to me, but he was like, he's actually super nice and like funny and like hilarious, and so I didn't really meet him then. That's the first time I saw him. I knew of Jared, and then we grew up, and actually I think that we actually got to know each other through battalion.
yeah. So you're
And Bible quizzing simultaneously.
So James has 1,000 brothers. James, how many brothers do you have?
I think you're off. It's about like 1,002 or
Okay.
something. 1,003.
Okay, but seven's the 7 in the whole family, right?
Yeah,
seven
seven of
boys
us.
in the whole family.
James,
So
his father
here's-
Abraham.
Yeah. So for battalion, they would sometimes send older, like either leaders or older like boys that were in high school to pick up some people that didn't have a ride. And so I lived on the way from James's house to the church, and so his family would roll up in like a 15 passenger van just full of brothers, and they would pick me up because I was like maybe like it was like really like a 3-minute detour. It was like you just pull out, grab me, and then get back on the freeway.
Right, and actually you were like the third stop because we went and picked up like a different family of a couple people, and then Jared, we like pulled in with a bus full of people.
And so and then we would hang out in the back of this bus or this van for like the 15-minute ride to church or whatever. And then then we started hanging out, and then James always wanted to come to my house because we had name brand pop.
I mean, actually, the brand, it didn't matter that it was name brand. It was just pop.
Yeah.
We weren't allowed to
The
have
name brand's
pop.
a bonus.
My mom always thought it was so funny that when either James or Dan or any of his brothers would come over, my mom was like, "Do you want pop?" And it was like you were like so excited.
Yeah.
Like let me be clear here. James's family is not destitute. They are very well off.
Yeah.
So it's not an issue of like they didn't have the money for pop. It was just they weren't allowed to.
It was a real
Because of the
treat.
way I was about it, your mom was always like, "Sure,
Like,
you sure
send
you don't want
home-
anything to
yeah,
eat?"
and like she would like send home
care
extra with
package.
you. Like when you went home, my mom was like, "Here, take."
Here's a care
pop."
package with an oven pizza and 3 pops in it, and I was like, "All right, I'll take it."
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, I loved to go.
You always love pop as long as I've known you.
I mean, I don't drink it as much now, but it was definitely just because we weren't allowed to drink it.
Yeah.
And whenever we did have it, it was either at my grandparents' house or Jared's house.
Yeah.
I will say also, I don't know that we even had name brand pop often. A lot of times it was like Aldi brand.
Yeah.
At one point, Aldi's had this awesome red cream soda
Okay.
that was like it just said cream soda on it, but when you opened it, it was red. And it was like, which like, I love red cream soda.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is amazing. And it was like $1 for a case of it or something.
But I remember being a little bit careful because I didn't want your mom to think that I was strange in any way. And this is why. This is a story. I don't know if I ever told you this story from my perspective.
I don't know. Was it about the dog?
One time I was at your house and like I was homeschooled, Jared wasn't.
Yeah.
So there's obviously some differences in the way that we like do things. So there was
Spent a lot more time doing spelling bees.
Exactly. There's a couple things that Jared was like, "Oh, all right, homeschooler," just teasing me. Obviously, all in good fun. But one time when we were eating dinner, Jared's mom was telling us a story about another friend that you had over, and your friend asked for yellow ketchup. And your mom was like, "What? Yellow ketchup?" And you were looking at him weird.
To be fair,
and then she was like, "To make a long story short, we don't have that friend over anymore." Yeah. And so I was like, "Oh no." Well, I got to make sure I don't, because like
that's funny.
I'm like, I really have to make sure.
I think this happened when the friend that he's referring to. I think that happened when I was like in first and second grade or something. It was like when I was a child, this kid probably didn't know it was called mustard or whatever.
Yeah.
And then James, you were probably like in 7th or 8th grade at this point.
Yeah. But I was still afraid. I thought that our friendship was like fragile because you and your mom wouldn't have me over anymore because I drink all your pop or something. So then I
call the pop the wrong name, and then all of a sudden you're banned.
Exactly.
They actually did do a promotion, I think Heinz did, where they changed the color of ketchup. Do you remember that?
Well, I remember they had green ketchup and purple ketchup.
They never did it yellow?
I don't think that seems like it would be confusing because
so is purple ketchup, but they did it anyway.
But there are no other condiments that are purple.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the.
They didn't get purple potatoes mashed together in like a yam type of thing, you know?
Yeah, Yukon Golds or whatever they're called.
Yeah. So James, I'm trying to think of when I met you. I don't know if you have some memories of meeting me.
I remember my first memory of you.
Okay.
So I don't know. For our listeners who know what Mike looks like, he looked way different when he was younger. I mean, it was like always a perfect haircut. Like he just got his haircut yesterday.
100% not true.
Glasses and like
Mike had a Neville Longbottom-esque glow up where he used to be like look kind of nerdy and had glasses,
super nerdy,
and then he just got totally jacked.
And grew out his hair and became like a rock star
and had a sick soul patch.
His biceps were huge. I remember like watching him play guitar, and he's like, man, I wish I had arms like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But anyway, my first memory of you was you still looked kind of nerdy, and you were going over the story about the Bible, about the spelling bee.
Oh,
And I remember you went up there and you were a little shy and you started the story because you went to that like national spelling bee.
I did, yeah.
And then you told the story.
That was 8th grade.
You told the story and you looked a little bit nervous, but then people started to like laugh and like snicker at the things you said, and you're like, oh yeah, I got the crowd going. And then all of a sudden you're like, and who knew this word had 2 Z's in it? And everyone's like, ah! And at that moment, I just hear like the background music. Yeah. It's like he became popular.
That's so funny.
I know that like one of our other friends,
and
like,
his pecs grew 2 sizes that day.
Yeah.
That's funny that you mentioned that because actually I almost forgot about that memory. But,
I don't remember this, but
it was in 8th grade, so this was the beginning of youth group.
Yeah,
I had come to the church in 4th grade for VBS, and so I didn't really start doing the youth thing until it was like junior high time, which was probably 6th grade, 7th grade. At which time I probably knew of you, Jared, or like I knew of you, James, but like I don't think we really knew you. And yeah, 8th grade when like, I don't know, we had more of an opportunity to like meet people and we sort of started to come into our own. That's sort of when I went to you. I think you were in my dad's 4-9 group.
Yeah.
And was that junior high?
For anyone that's not listening, well, first of all, if you're not from our youth group and listening to this, cool, awesome. We're excited that you're listening to this because we didn't know if it would appeal to anyone. But for anyone that's wondering, 4-9 groups are basically small groups that we had within our youth group. It refers to some book of the Bible that is
so
chapter 4, verse 9.
How do we not know this?
I don't remember.
We should know this.
We could ask Paul. I want to say it's Ephesians.
Is it Ephesians?
I thought it was. We can
don't know.
look it up afterwards.
I guess our leaders were too busy serving us pizza than telling us what the actual...
I think it was Ephesians 4:9. I'm going to step away and see if I can look it up real quick.
Okay. Do you need me to put this on pause, or are we just going to roll?
I'm just going to grab
my
my phone and step away from the mic.
All right. Well, I was going somewhere with that story, James.
Yeah,
I remember
dad.
my dad was your leader, which was probably around the same time, 7th, 8th grade. And actually, one of the things that my dad noticed about you is how much you loved pop. I'm dead serious. You would always ask my dad, when could you go out and get pop? And my dad would go to Domino's or Little Caesars and get a pizza and like a 2-liter bottle of Mountain Dew or whatever, just to do it. It was not Ephesians 4:9.
It's not.
Okay.
What's Ephesians 4:9?
try
Galatians. Yeah. That's,
What's Ephesians 4:9?
I'll go back to Ephesians 4:9 in a second.
Okay. So anyways, that was one of my first memories of you, James, I guess, like secondhand from my dad. I knew of you mostly through your videos. You know, I knew you as the
Fire Studios.
Yes, I knew
The
you.
rival
You were
production company.
Which one were you? I thought you were Fire.
No, yeah, we were Fire Studios.
Yeah.
we were Omega Productions.
Omega
Yeah.
Productions was the rival company.
Yeah, I knew you as a friend of a friend because I was kind of friends with Matt, and Matt was friends with you through Isaac, right? So that was kind of the 3, degrees of Kevin Bacon for you. Obviously, I got to know you a little bit more throughout the years, but I want to take a step back and talk about that story of my spelling bee.
Yeah.
So Paul put me on the spot and asked me to tell about my experience going to Washington, D.C. and things like that.
Paul
And,
loved doing that.
He'd always put
shy
Paul
on the spot.
Paul is our youth pastor, for
Yeah.
anyone that doesn't know.
And actually, to that day, to this day, I really am grateful for those opportunities where you get to like get put in front of somebody and like you have to make up a story on the spot. Because like, I don't know, I feel like I do that a lot in daily life. I mean, when you're doing a podcast, right, it's like there's some people who are really struggle with the idea of being on the spot of like, I don't know what to say. I'm just going to go with it. Anyways, so I told this story about the spelling bee and how awkward it was. And I'll tell this story. I'll tell the same story that I told just very quickly.
Yes. You actually remember it?
Yeah, I remember what I told. Basically, they had this mixer at this pizza party type of a thing at the Grand Hyatt Hotel in Washington, D.C. And all these spellers from all over the United States and Canada and, U.S. Virgin Islands and everywhere, right? They're all in this room, and all the spelling bee kids, it's like, kids from 4th grade to 8th grade, right? 8th grade, 9th grade, that's the cutoff. You can't do the spelling bee once you hit 15. And so, it was just that awkward age, and plus no one knows each other. So the founders of the spelling bee thought it would be a good idea to get everyone in the room and play games, right? Like getting to know you games. So they had all kinds of board games. They had, they had Connect 4, they had Monopoly, they had all Boggle, like all those writing games, but they also had Risk. And at the time, me and my friends were playing Risk. It was the greatest game in the world. And if you know Risk
is dangerous.
Yeah, it just takes forever to do.
Listen,
right?
I'll say I have flipped a Risk board more than once.
Yeah.
I've thrown dice across the room. I ruined a friendship. Risk,
wow.
Risk is.
We
Risk
used to
is
always
not a
beg.
joke.
We used to always beg my dad to play Risk with us
Yeah.
because he loved the game.
Yeah.
But he never wanted to play with us because every time he actually did, one of us would cry.
Yeah.
We would literally cry and be like, "Why did you destroy my
Yeah.
whole nation?"
So that's where my story is going, right? It's a game that takes a lot of setup, and the demographic of the spelling bee, these people were very type A, and they needed to follow every rule by the letter. So, they had the cards mechanic and things like that. Well, there's this one person in my group who was really upset that like he needed to follow all these rules by the letter. And he ended up having like a tantrum, and he didn't toss the board like Jared did, but like he literally rage quit like in the middle of it just because he was so frustrated. And it was just awkward. I was trying to meet friends. That guy actually turned out to be the one who passed out.
Passed out on stage.
On stage. So if you look up Spelling Bee Kid Passes Out 2004, you'll see this kid. And the conspiracy theory is he was faking
He needed
it
more time.
to get extra time, right? Because it was the first year they did that kind of thing. So that was a long tangent. That was a story I told. But a random girl, her name was Gabby, she called me on the phone after that and was like, "Hey, I heard your story at youth group. You seem really cool. My dad has tickets to a Scrappers game, and I wanted to know if you wanted to go with me."
Hey, if things had gone different, we could be in Mike and Gabby's house
Yes,
right now.
very true. Yeah, so I didn't know how to handle that, but it was like my first time actually getting any attention from a female. So I definitely like didn't handle that the best that I could, but It was just maybe that was my coming of age moment.
Yeah,
So it's funny
I
that
was
you
gonna
remember
say,
that about me.
You at that moment, you probably realized I made it. I got girls coming to
did.
me,
Right.
asking me out.
Yeah, the world was just so full of potential and possibilities.
Now I
So.
just gotta grow my hair out and do curls.
My hair, yeah, I actually did grow my hair out after that, and it looked horrible.
All right, I'm having trouble finding this verse. I can't find it. At least I'm pretty sure I looked through every book in the New Testament that has at least 4 chapters and 9 verses,
and it's not there.
None of them stood out to me as like. Because, like, when it was explained to us why they were called 4-9 groups, I was like, that makes sense in reference to this verse. And none of these verses made sense to me now. So, anyway, Paul, if you hear this, remind us what chapter of the Bible is.
It's not like we can Google it, right? It's like, I mean, I don't think any other
4-9 group.
Yeah, 4-9 group would like only pull up our group and only say 4-9. I might have to ask my mom to see if she has like an old program.
I mean, if anyone that's not Paul knows what 4-9 was referencing, let us know.
It is the Bible, right? It's not the Quran.
It's not like the Dead Sea Scrolls,
right? Yeah,
or
the
some
Apocrypha.
Yeah. Maccabees 4-9.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but
oh, that's funny.
Over the years of youth group, though, me and Mike were in separate. We did these. I don't know how this even happened, but we made videos. Like there was 2 groups of people who liked to make videos. We should have joined forces. It would have been like way better. But there was my group and the homeschool kids because I was homeschooled, and then Mike got part of the other group, and it was Fire Studios versus Omega Productions. And just because of the way the friends are in high school, we never really like hung out very much, got close. But in college, I met
until it wasn't the flip side of a joint production.
Yeah, it was.
That was the
that was all
my.
that was all my doing too. I was like, I was actually staying up one night.
The mastermind.
Yeah.
So my best friend Isaac, I was staying up one night and I was thinking about this flip side. I really wanted to make like a sitcom / news, like Saturday Night Live style like show for our youth
James,
group.
you'll be happy to know. Listen, at this point, none of our podcast episodes have been released yet. We've recorded close to 10, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. We end every episode. Get you on the flip side.
No way.
I swear to God. Yes.
Yes.
I swear. Yes.
So I was thinking about this. I'm like a dreamer. I think of like these crazy dreams that are way too big to ever accomplish. And my friend Isaac kind of helps me, like pulls me back a little bit and makes it more realistic. So one night I was staying up late and I'm like, what could we do to let our pastor Paul like make this a weekly thing? Like how can I convince him to put us up there on the screen every week? And I'm like, why don't I join forces with our other friend Drew, who was my rival at the time, because
he was Mike's friend that we've talked about.
Yeah. So Drew was my rival because he was like the lead of his group of friends and I was like the lead of my group of friends, and they had their production company, we had ours, and I was like, I'm going to ask him to co-star on this show with me and see what he says. Yeah. So I literally the next Sunday in Sunday school, I walked up with him after Terry.
Hold on, okay.
No, we can't drop last names.
Yeah, Mr. J. Also, he taught 7th and 8th grade. Was it? I thought you guys didn't do that till high school.
Mr. J.
Yeah, it was 7th and 8th grade.
Okay, so it must have been Mike's class.
Yeah, because this didn't happen until I think I was like a junior. I thought Drew was a senior when
you guys could drive.
Yeah, because I for sure we
you
did that.
Clearly drive.
I was definitely,
we could drive while not behind the wheel.
Yeah,
we've talked about ghost riding.
Ghost riding the wheel.
Yes. I don't know if that episode's been released yet, but we did talk about that at some point.
I cut half of it out.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, man.
Now we got to cut this. Insert edit point here.
Okay.
So I approach him after Sunday school, and I'm like, hey, Drew, do you want to be part of this awesome idea? And he just like literally was staring over my shoulder like he wasn't listening to me, and like and casually waving at like people that walked by, like, oh, hey, I see you, Larry or whatever. And I'm like, are you even listening? And he's like, I think it's an awesome idea. Let's do it. And then next
Drew,
Saturday,
the pastor's
we filmed
son. He has to hobnob with the entire church.
Yeah.
Firstborn pastor's son. He got a lot of people to say hi to.
Surprisingly, though, I looked at him as like the popular kid. Like he's the pastor's son. All the girls liked him, and I just felt like he was the popular one, and I needed to be more like him or like get in with his like social group. But meeting with him, and when we were editing videos, we stayed up like all night editing videos with him and my friend Isaac, and it actually came out that he looked at us like, no, you guys have something that we want. Like,
well, you guys did win the major award of best video at camp.
Stop motion.
Yes, the stop motion music video with Weird Al.
Yeah, we did
That was
two. We did
sick.
two videos that were award winning, and
Oh.
they felt so. Hey,
Let me check the IMDb page.
Hey.
Hold on.
So the first one we did. The first one we did, though, was stop motion, where you take a picture of yourself and then take another picture with yourself a little forward, and it looks like you're like ice skating on concrete. And we were a little bit before our time doing that because we
had the OK Go.
I was gonna say, okay, go treadmill.
Yeah, it was
happened?
before that. It was before it was all over YouTube.
They stole the idea. You can sue them.
Get wrecked, OK Go.
should.
Get wrecked.
We should, but we won an iPod for that, and then we also did another one with Weird Al, Since You've Been Gone.
That's a good prize.
I was going to say it's a terrible prize. How are you supposed to share an iPod between three people?
And I will say,
that brings up
terms
a good story.
In reference to sharing it, yes, it's an awful prize. But in terms of like the quality of like a prize at that time, in the mid 2000s, an iPod was like super expensive.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
What we did was we shared it between me,
really?
Isaac, and Julia, who also helped with the movie. We a week at a time, we would pass it back and forth for a week at a time and listen to music on it.
I could just
Was
imagine.
there any dispute over like why is this song on here? I hate this song.
No, because Julia pirated every song known to man, so she would just
Don't throw it under the bus like that. The statute of limitations not over yet.
track down who I'm talking about.
We're gonna talk to Crystal Myers, and I don't want to get off on a bad foot.
Make an example out of her.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that would be weird to hit Showbread and then Crystal Myers.
What are we using here? LimeWire, Napster,
Kaza, probably.
I'm not even sure what she used.
Yeah,
I don't know.
YouTube Rips. That's what I YouTube Rips.
I remember saving up a bunch of money for a computer animation program so I could like model things in 3D. And then when I finally saved up a few $100 to buy it, I find out Julia just downloaded it for free. But whatever, to each their own.
Julia was like the Mike of your friend group.
I think she kept her hands clean, though. She always said it was her older brothers.
Laundered it through their account. A classic. She was behind 7 proxies.
Exactly.
Used all of your brothers.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I'm behind 7 brothers.
That's so funny. Yeah, so after we had the Paris Accords of the the Paris Accords of the video production crew, James came into my life in a significant way when he started dating my wife's cousin. So I started
cousins-in-laws right here.
And that was actually just a coincidence because I met my wife Kayla in college. So. And then I found out that...
Weren't you like, hey, I know someone with that last name? That's the story I heard. It was
all right, are we getting into this?
Hold on. You don't have to tell the whole story, but I thought it was like, hey, there's someone with this last name.
Exactly.
Are you related to this person?
That's
with this
exactly
last
right.
Name? Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
There's another one.
Yeah.
Okay.
They look a little bit similar, enough that you could tell
the other ones are taken.
Yeah.
No one has
This one's
ever
their
said
cousin.
anything about that about your last name, James. Just say that
Exactly.
right now.
Like,
Honestly, we could just call James by his full name. Good luck finding him.
Yeah. Go ahead. Google James Allen Smith and see what you find.
Yeah, good luck. Wow. James
I used to prank call people all the time and they'd be like, "What is your name?" I'm like, "James Allen Smith," and they're like, "Stop give me a real name." Yeah. I'm like, "That is my name."
It's the most common first name and the most common last name, correct? Yeah.
So you're going to begin the story of how this happened, right?
So what happened?
How you went down the trail of the family tree.
Okay.
Is that what you're going?
So I guess in college, okay, I liked Mike's wife when we were in high school. I liked her, and she was taken by Mike. Obviously, they met when they were like 13.
Hey, homecoming date over
They
here.
started dating at 13 at camp.
Give me my respect.
So,
Respect game.
Long story short, there was no one else in her family available because she had one other sister that was a little too old for me,
and the rest were boys.
and the rest were boys. And then I saw on Facebook that there was another one with the same last name, and I was like, So I clicked on it. She had a boyfriend. I was like, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. She has a boyfriend. I ended up running into her in class at YSU, and I was like, hey. Then I was like, how do I tell this person that I know who she is?
I've seen your Facebook.
I know. I said, what's up? If you have any questions about engineering, here's my number. Yeah. And then we just had a lot of classes together and got to know each other and got married. So.
And there you go. And now I see James a lot more.
I missionary dated her.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey,
not ashamed.
listen. That might be another topic for
Hey,
another.
This is like my wife doesn't care. I don't know if your wife's gonna listen to this.
From what we learned about Extreme Days, missionary dating is cool and rad. Does she skateboard though?
Flirt to convert.
Yeah.
All right, so that was long enough of an intro.
Yeah.
All right, James, tell us a little bit about Bible quizzing. So, like, Mike and I did it for. I think I did it for 2 years. Mike did it for 1. I think. Okay, but you, how many years did you do it?
I think I did it for 6.
We
So
never
did
did
you-
it concurrently, did we?
Did you start? What grade did you start in?
So I
what age, if
started.
you remember?
You only did it for 1 year.
I did it for 2 because I remember I was in one room 1 year and one room another year.
You were on
I
my
quit
team?
halfway through the 1 year, maybe.
I think
I was on your team the 1 year.
mine and yours first year was the same. I think
So what?
because then the next year you were on.
So here's the thing. When we first started, we were in different grades because you're a little bit older than me, but because of for whatever reason, you and Matt and Joel, you were all a year ahead of me.
Yeah.
And then you became in my grade at some point. I don't know when that happened.
Yeah.
And I think that may have been because I remember being on a team, I want to say with your sister-in-law, Sarah, and Julia, who you mentioned. I think we were on a team together when I was like in 5th or 6th grade or something. And then when I think I went into 7th grade, I was on a team with you and our friend Phil.
Yep.
I think, and I don't. There was someone else. I don't remember who because I think we had 4. But I don't
Was my little brother Dave on the team with us?
No, because he would have been much younger. He wouldn't have been in 7th grade because they separated them by grades, didn't they?
Maybe.
I was in a completely different squad than you, so there maybe was a different league or some like division where you guys were like B division. And I
I
was
know
A
for
division.
sure that I was on B division because I wanted to name our team.
Yeah, we were in the lower division.
I wanted to name our team the Hot Bees. Okay, and here's why. Okay, there is a Homestar Runner cartoon, and at some point in the cartoon, for anyone that's, I'm not going to give the whole premise of Homestar Runner. It's a cartoon. It's very famous. You can look it up. Someone comes out and puts like matches on someone's foot and lights them on fire. And he says, "Yow, hot mama." And then immediately after that, the same person comes out and puts a beehive on his foot. And he goes, "Yow, hot bees." And I was like, this is comedy gold.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want our team to be called the Hot Bees because I was like, that'll be a funny name. It'll be great. And I think you and Phil were on board. I know Phil was on board. Phil was like, this rules. And then I think we had a girl on the team and she didn't want to do it.
I think it was, I think her name was Katie. There's like that quiet girl. Yeah. But anyway.
It's too long for me to remember this thing that I was in for 2 months in 7th grade. But yeah.
So the Hot Bees, and
we weren't the Hot Bees. I don't remember what we ended up being, but yeah,
the
Raging Fire.
Yeah, that sounds right.
A very common name in the Bible quizzing world, as we learned from looking up our stats. So I guess James, can you talk a little bit about your experience like studying or like with the technique? We were a little fuzzy on some of the rules. We remembered that like you can quiz out, so like there's a set number of points you can get before you have
you can
quit.
also error out, I think, right?
Right.
Couldn't remember how many questions it was to do.
Okay, so I'm a little bit sketchy on the airing out points. I think it's so when you quiz out, so each point granted is worth 20 points. Mm-hmm. So each question. So if you answer a question correctly, you get 20 points. And then your fourth correct answer is worth 30 points, and it's called a quiz out. Mm-hmm. And you are no longer allowed to participate in the quiz because you've already done the highest achievement.
And this is so one kid doesn't dominate everyone.
Yeah, that's
so LeBron James in the Bible
20
doesn't.
questions to one kid, which would happen because there's some really tryhards, and I'll get into that.
Some of whom may even be in your family.
Yeah, well, I think that in some ways I was a little bit better, but he was like a one and done kind of guy.
Okay.
I mean, he went to internationals once. I went 3 times in a row.
Ooh!
You coming for Drew right now? You coming for his neck?
Yeah, here we go.
Put it on blast.
Okay.
I mean, he was rookie of the year and all those accolades, but I made it there 3 years in a row.
Scoreboard. Count the rings. Count them. That's fair.
I gotta take a phone call.
Okay, that's the Michael Jordan, LeBron James date.
All right, we're gonna take a quick pause here. Technical difficulties.
All right.
Hello, Pam. This is Scott. How would you like to go to the movies with me Saturday night?
Your money is safe at State Savings. Time 5:41. Temperature 82 degrees.
Thank you.
All right, we got our technical difficulties sorted. All right, we're back here with James. James is just about to tell us, so he's telling us, like, you can quiz out if you get 4 correct, and your fourth one is worth more, and then you can error out. Do you lose points if you get the question wrong, or you just don't get?
So I think it's negative 10 points for getting a question wrong, and if I'm not sure about this, but I think if you get 3 questions wrong, then
3 sounds correct.
Yeah, then it's negative 20 for the third one, and then you're done. You're aired out, and you have to like go get off the stage. They ask you. It's so humiliating.
You get sin bin.
It's humiliating. They're like, I'm sorry, that's an air out, and you're not allowed to sit up on stage anymore.
But if you quiz out, you just get to sit.
Yeah, you could just sit up there.
You sit there with your team.
Yeah,
and you look smug. And
there were some
if you
teams
air out. You're like, please leave the room.
Put the dunce.
There were some teams that would all quiz out, and they would all just be sitting up there.
Maximum points.
Yeah.
I mean, what like if the whole team quizzes out, do they just win? Like, is there a way to beat them at that point?
It's, they pretty much win, and
Because there's how many questions are in a
20.
game, right? And then
you would go into extra questions, I think,
right,
and then it's like a sudden death type
But
thing.
if all 4 of them quiz out,
Well,
that's
then
16 questions, right? I mean, that's
oh yeah, so they can't.
yeah.
So there's
you
questions
just
for-
have dominated.
You get
the
4
other team.
freebies.
Yeah. So 2
They're
teams
victory.
can't.
They're just sitting back
Yeah.
watching you.
There's no coming back from
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Man, talk about demoralizing.
Right. Yeah,
So what was the favorite book of the Bible that you've done? We're dying to know, like, which book was
the one
good.
I remember is
Well, James, of course.
I remember John was the one that
I never did John.
Okay, that's the one I remember. That's the one. That's the time I was like competitive because I think it was like when I was in like the lower grades and I was like, I'm older than everyone. I have a chance here. And then I got into like 7th grade and I was like, people are taking this way more seriously than I'm willing to take this.
Right.
I'm out.
I'm trying to, because the first year I went, so basically if you make it to internationals, so there's districts and then there's internationals, and it's called internationals because there's like 2 Canadian teams. So
Technically international.
So it's technically internationals, but so the districts is what you played all year through the summer, and it was once a month for I forget how many months, but once a month you go and meet with everyone in Northeast Ohio and all quiz against each other
At a different church.
Yeah, you're quizzing against other churches, and then at the end of the year, all the best quizzers get to qualify for internationals from our area. It was called Central District, and when
Would they make like a super team?
Yeah, they made
from
a
the
super
district,
Oh.
and
Yeah.
they make a super team from the district. Okay.
Yeah, so we made a super team from the district. Yeah, you don't your team, if you do really well, you don't get to go to internationals.
Okay.
They take
you
all the
qualify
best
as
players.
individuals,
Yeah,
not as a
yeah.
Wow.
You qualify
So it's
as
like
individuals. They fill up
It's like an all-star.
The Olympic team.
So the Olympic.
Our church, actually, Northmar Church, was we had somebody going to internationals for I think like a 12-year stretch. Like at least one person from our church was going to internationals from Central District.
Nice.
But so my older brother went, and he's 3 years older than me, and he went and got Rookie of the Year, and he's talked about how awesome it was. He went to California. It was a free vacation pretty much because they pay for everything because you qualified.
Yeah.
And then he graduated, and I was like, I want to do that. So I did the bare minimum to get to internationals because I didn't care. I
just wanted to go.
Yeah, listen, like my goal wasn't to place high at internationals.
It was to go on a vacation.
My goal was to get to internationals. So I did the bare minimum, and I remember I would you had to be in the top 20 to go to the qualifying rounds. I'd be like 19th or 20th, and I had
That's
to
good enough.
I was
Still
staying
counts.
up the night before studying like the whole book of Acts in one night, and then I'd show up and I would just like dominate these qualifying rounds, and they're like, all right, James is on the team, and I was always like just making it for 3 years in a row.
Did you get to go to California?
No.
Or did
No.
you get to go to
No, I didn't.
To
Yeah.
glorious Cleveland, Ohio.
Exactly. So that's a good part of the story because I was gonna say I was like I can't wait because I'm gonna go to these awesome places. The first year we went to Chicago, which was fun. I'm not saying it wasn't. The next year we went to Minneapolis, and we stopped in Chicago on the way there as part of the trip. So it was like the same thing.
Right.
And then the year after that we went to a campground in PA, which is like I could throw a rock to PA from here.
Right.
it's
That's
like-
boring. Yeah.
So I was like, come on. Why? And then the year after I graduated.
James, literally, I believe you lived in the city that is closest to Pennsylvania
Yeah.
without being in Pennsylvania.
Exactly.
James literally, if you left his house, you could be in Pennsylvania in less than 5
Right.
minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you tripped on the
You
sidewalk.
could almost see Pennsylvania from like the road from your house.
If you tripped on my sidewalk, you'd fall into Pennsylvania.
I think this year was Wisconsin. It was somewhere in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Didn't we establish
The year
that?
after I
Yeah.
graduated, it was Miami.
Oh,
Like, come on.
Miami
dude.
would have been awesome.
Can you
I
imagine
thought
a
it was
bunch
gonna be like it was Hawaii, or
Yeah.
like the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
The year
Right.
before I
Guam.
Yeah.
well, the year before I went, they went to the Canada.
Toronto?
What?
Vancouver.
No, I can't think of it. This
Newfoundland. I'm naming provinces.
We're making
Anchorage?
Anchorage is in
Yukon?
Alaska.
No, not Anchorage.
Paul is so upset right
None of
now.
it?
I can't think of it.
Alberta?
Our youth
can't
pastor
think of
Paul
it.
is from Canada. He's so upset right now.
It's on the tip of my tongue. If I think
Niagara
of it
Falls.
later,
British,
no.
Columbia. British Columbia.
No, if I think of it later on, I'll just say it. But
Okay.
yeah. So I didn't get to go to anywhere fun. but
Montreal.
I loved the socialization. I liked the
Speaking of,
competition.
I wanted
but
to ask this question. Did either of you ever have a crush from another church that was related to Bible? Because I remember when I was like
Bible
in 6th grade, there was a girl from another church. I believe her name was Melody. I never spoke to her, but I had a huge crush on her.
Yeah.
And I would go to every, like, I was like, all right, I'm going to get to see this girl that I like, that I've never spoken to and doesn't know that I
Well, that's
exist.
how I
Wow.
met. That's
And
how
I
I met
believe her
the,
name was Melody.
That's how I met the
Shout out to
burnt
Melody.
pizza.
I'm
girl.
married now.
She was from Bible quizzing.
Really?
The burnt pizza girl.
No, oh my gosh.
So what James is referring to is that
Another
one time-
podcast, another day.
I could tell.
Okay.
Fast. One time,
I had 2 birthday
we had a
parties in one
mutual
day.
we had a mutual friend. It was his 18th birthday, and he had a bunch of dudes over our house. We were gonna like hang out. We were just gonna bro down, right? Mike's there. James is there. Other dudes are there. James hangs out for like an hour or something, and then leaves.
I had another party to get
go
to.
to this girl's party. And when he leaves, we were like, this cannot stand. This injustice cannot stand.
Well,
And so,
that and the gift that I
yes.
gave him.
oh, yeah, we won't
yeah.
mention that.
We-
That's
that's-
mine?
Yeah.
We got
Nah,
it.
we're the PG
Okay,
podcast.
okay.
Okay. He was turning 18. Use your imagination. So
Not too much,
we
though.
so what happened is that James made the mistake of telling us where he was going, giving us the address.
Yeah.
And so we went online, and this was like in the early days of being able to order pizza online.
Yes, they
And
were
so
innovators.
and so we were we're gonna order a bunch of pizzas and send it to this house, okay? And then you didn't have to pay online. You just you paid when it got
Yeah,
there.
drop
And
off.
so you could customize the pizza, and I was like, let's make it
No
really
sauce.
gross.
No sauce.
So that even when they get it, it won't be worth eating.
Right.
And so there was an option. It was like, how much sauce do you want? And I was like, none. We're getting no sauce, no cheese. Okay?
Burnt to a
and
crisp.
then it was like, how done do you want the crust? And there was an option that was like, burn it. And I was like, burn it. So we sent them, it was crust with no cheese, no sauce, no toppings, burnt.
Special instructions.
And then there were special instructions. And I was like, let's tell the driver when he pulls in, honk the horn until someone comes out, and do not stop honking the horn until someone comes out to the car. And so that was the instructions we gave. And I think we didn't want to put him on the hook for too much money.
Yeah.
So I think we only did 2, but still, it was like the most useless thing possible. And then just
Yep.
honk this horn until someone
man.
comes out.
That's hilarious. Yeah,
It actually-
that was
I
fun.
stand by that prank. That was a good one.
It actually kind of worked out for me because I didn't get the opportunity to talk to this girl very much at her
Yeah.
party because there was a lot of people there,
Oh,
and I
yeah,
was
yeah.
still trying to work on getting her to like
So
me.
we did you a
And she
solid
ended up
on
after I
accident.
left. She ended up calling me and she's like, "What do you know? Do you know anything about this? Because your name was on the order because you put my name."
Yeah, of course. But it was
Yeah,
being
it
sent
was
to
you.
you.
You had to sign it. And then she's like, your name was on an order for some burnt pizzas. And I was like so confused. But then I think it's funny how earlier you said that I gave you the address. We're talking
Someone
Mike.
might have
We're talking
texted
Mike
you,
here.
yeah.
He found the
Oh,
address.
maybe I did.
Oh,
don't
Mike
remember,
found the address.
I know that Mike and I were spearheading this effort.
Yeah.
I know there were other people there. There was probably like 5 or 6 other people there, but Mike and I were spearheading
Mike is
this.
resourceful.
We were
to
like,
say the least.
everyone, let's do this. It's going to be great. We were, yeah.
we were thinking of what we could do, and
Yeah.
maybe I don't. Maybe I did. Maybe you just gave me a name and I looked.
Yeah, you looked them up.
Man, I'm glad I got the right people. Like, can you imagine just having
but did
someone
you
go to
care?
the wrong
Hey,
person?
hey,
care?
but I mean, worst case scenario,
Yeah, it's something
it gets sent
random,
to
Frank.
someone named James Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, good luck finding.
We ended up talking on the phone that whole evening because of that. So thank you, thank you for that
No problem.
prank.
Glad to do it.
I could have sold that as a service. Like, hey, like,
I'll send a weird order to a party you're at, so the host will have to speak to you.
yeah.
But yeah, I met her at Bible quizzing from another church,
Cool.
and I think I liked.
Do you want to name drop her first name? You don't have to.
She's still out
Yeah,
there. She
Rachel.
might listen to this.
Rachel?
Rachel.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rachel.
Rachel from
Shout out to Melody, my crush.
For some
Mike,
reason,
you got a Bible quizzing crush.
my Bible quizzing crushes were, on the team, so I'm not gonna.
Oh,
Yeah, a little too close
Yeah,
for
too
comfort.
close to home.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
gonna drop.
keep it
those.
cool, man.
Yeah.
Keep it cool.
Yeah, so it's funny how I don't know the preteen boy mind works. I guess. Yeah, it wasn't a Bible quizzing crush, but when I went to the spelling bee, since that seems to be a secondary theme in this episode. There is this cute girl from Texas who also said
Southern Belle.
she also said she was a Christian in her bio, because there's like a little yearbook thing and she's like, love Jesus. I was like, oh,
Some people have a
like-
Southern accent.
yeah, right.
Those
Find
are
out
hot.
more about this.
Yeah, she was from like
Plano.
Corpus Christi or something like way down south.
Let's
like-
name some. Let's keep naming
Yeah.
other cities and see if we get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was like Corpus Christi, and I met her at this like mixer, and like I didn't like. It's not like we hit it off. I was like, oh wow, she's really cute.
Yeah.
She's a spelling bee crush. And then I made a slideshow of Ocean Avenue to some video that I made of the spelling bee, and that's who I had in mind. If I could find you now, things would get better. But which is pretty dumb because we shared like 2 sentences.
Calgary.
Hey, more than
Calgary. Okay.
Calgary.
Okay, well, I was gonna say more than Melody and I ever spoke.
Yeah. Right.
Don't even know if that was her name. I thought it was in her head. In my head that was her name.
still counts. So any last words about Bible quizzing? Any advice? I guess.
Or any
James,
other
that
like
you'd,
weird stuff we didn't know about that we should.
Huh. So I think that the thing with Bible quizzing is it's like so hard to explain it without because
The seat buzzers are insane.
all right.
Yeah.
Like, why not just have
All right.
a
I mean,
buzzer?
but it's just the way it is, and they don't want to change it because it's like that's kind of
Can't
like
be.
it's
Yeah.
kind of like cool. Or it's kind of like cool with that
Yeah.
society, like because
Uh-huh.
it's like, well, we're not going to give that up. That's
Yeah.
part of what makes it unique.
Yeah.
But when you because I grew up homeschooled, so I don't really know how things work in public schools like prep bowl or all that.
Yeah.
So I don't really know.
Mike and I prep bowl.
Yeah,
Prep bowl
so-
pros.
so-
Prep bowl pros, baby.
That's right.
Now, later on in life, whenever I'm getting to know someone, I bring up Bible quizzing, I explain it to them, and I'm like, yeah, you sit on these pads, and you jump off your seat, and then quote a chapter of the Bible. And they're like, and I look
and
at
what
them.
they do is you sit on your seat, they say one word, and 20 people try to jump up, and you hope that you're guessing. You're like, well, this word happens twice. I'm going to guess it's this one.
Could you imagine someone walking into a Bible quizzing meet who's never been in church before, and they'd be like, what's going on in here? What are those kids doing?
I will say this. Can you give us any Bible verses from the books that you learned? Do you still remember?
Oh, yeah, I
them?
know a lot of verses.
Just give us a quick taste. Just give
I know.
us a
I
taste.
memorized. I mean, I definitely know the ones that are crazy situations that I was in, the highlights of my quizzing. So this was internationals, and we were losing by 20 points. And I
You about
had
to quiz out?
Yeah.
Oh man, 30 points, baby.
I was about to quiz out. No, actually, no. I'm wrong. I wasn't about to quiz out. There was another.
You're
thing
about to
called-
air out?
No, there's another. Probably. Actually, probably. I probably had because I got a lot of errors. I was a loose cannon.
You're just throwing everything at the
Yeah.
wall and just seeing what
My
sticks.
our coach would bench me even when there was no one else to put in. So there'd be an empty seat. But anyway, so there was something
Wait,
called
seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
We're just not
because
gonna
it would be
respond
towards
to
the end
that.
of the quiz, and
Yeah.
we couldn't afford any errors.
they're pulling them out.
And I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't listen to him when he's like, seated. We're just gonna wait this one out and let them like get errors and kill themselves. So I'd be like, oh, forget that. I'm like, and I'd like wink to the girl in the first credits. And
then they'd be like, all right, and in John 4, and you'd be like, I know it.
Yeah. So there was something called a team bonus.
Yeah.
And that was when a fourth person on your team gets 4 different people on your team get a right answer. You get a 30-point bonus.
Okay.
So I would be the third person to get it, and there was someone else. There's 5 people on each team. There's one sub.
I thought there was only 4.
There's 4 people up on stage,
okay.
and there's a sub.
Okay.
So 3 of us already got answers, and then the sub was in. So it was me and the sub, and my coach wanted the other guy to get the bonus one, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to let this go. So it was a finish the verse. It was a finish the verse question. It was a finish the verse question, and it was like question number 1. Question.
Yeah.
Sit.
Yeah.
And I jumped. All he said was sit. Yeah. And I knew it.
Tell us now what.
So I walked up to the mic. I was so confident that I knew it. I took the mic. I took it off the mic stand because I was gonna like.
You're gonna drop.
Yeah. I was gonna like say it, and the cord came out of the mic, and I'm on like a 30-second timer.
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to get the cord back in.
You should have passed out.
I'm trying. I should have opened my eyes really wide and just fallen over. But so I had to get the cord back in, and instead of getting the cord back in, I couldn't get it to like line up all the little prongs.
Just yell it.
So I just yelled. I was like, "Silver or gold I do not have, but what I have I give you. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, walk!" And they were like,
"Oh man!"
And then my coach just jumped out of the seat. Was like, "Yeah, let's go!"
Nice.
So I'll never forget that verse. And then I found out after the quiz there was 5 verses in that category that began with "si."
Yeah.
And then and the girl who's like. The big thing with Bible quizzing, the more homeschooler you look, the more good you are at Bible quizzing. And she was like the best. She came in first place like 2 or 3 years in a row.
You're saying that she had like a really long jean skirt on?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. She was an only child.
A horse girl.
Her parents came with her on these trips. They paid for themselves, and they brought like a ton of like vitamins and minerals that we'd all take before quizzes.
Essential
supplements,
essential oils.
Yeah, essential oils.
Joe Rogan's Alpha Brain.
Exactly. And they had like those things on their cell phone that like gets rid of like the bad like wave like cancer. Like it's like a conspiracy theory that cell phones give you like brainwash you or something. So they had like these things.
That was before 5G. We're like all the way back to like 2G.
But anyway, I talked to her
4
afterwards,
generations.
and she was like, just so you know, there's 5 that begin with "si," and that was the least likely to be the one. And I was like, I knew it was the one.
I was like, that's what you said.
Well, at least
that's what you said.
Yeah, it was like, who got the team bonus? Was it you?
Oh man,
that's amazing, James. Wow, that's a good story.
So I forgot. This is something I want to ask. Do you remember? I remember there were multiple different types of questions. Can you tell us about the different types of questions?
Yeah, I'll see if I can list them all. I might forget one, but there was a quotation. I think it was called a quote, and that's when they would say, according to John chapter 1 verse 2, and then everyone jumps and they just quote that verse. They don't say any of the verse; they just say the reference. And then there was a finish the verse. Mm-hmm. That was the one that I got.
Yeah.
And they just start reading the verse. And then there was a finish this, which was always a quotation in the scripture, but it wasn't the beginning of a verse. It was just the beginning of like a quotation. Then there was a multiple choice, which I think
the ones I was the best
that
at.
was the Jared's favorite.
Anytime it was like about the content of it, like, hey, what happened in this? I could do those ones.
Dude.
Sometimes it was like quote something. I was like, I don't know.
You're like,
in the beginning was the word.
And the thing
the
is,
word was with God. The word was God. He was with God in the beginning. John 1 through 2.
Technically, with a multiple choice, you didn't have to get it word perfect. As long as you like listed all the things with basically the right words, you got it right.
That's why bread and butter,
and
baby.
Jared came in clutch.
I just listen. I was like, I'm just guessing. Like, yeah, this.
And then he had me to challenge it. Like I love challenging because it was all about like debate.
Oh, I forgot you.
Dude, challenge.
Okay,
so there's a quiz.
About that. Yeah.
So there's a captain of the team.
Okay.
And as soon as I started Bible quizzing, I wasn't the captain, but I wanted to be one. I saw the captains on stage. They just looked like they walked a little taller than everyone else.
Melody was a captain.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Melody was a captain.
Big flex. That's right.
But I just wanted to be one. And the only thing that captains were allowed to do were challenge. That was that was the only difference.
Flag?
Yeah. So basically, if they grant a question to another team, you could stand up and say, "I'd like to challenge."
Yeah.
Or if they say someone on your team got the question wrong, you could stand up and say, I'd like the challenge. Or also because it was a churchy thing, sometimes when they gave a wrong answer to someone on a different team, another team would be like, I like the challenge. And everyone's like, ah.
Like, you wasted your challenge on this?
You threw your flag.
And the quizmaster always granted it to him because it was the nice thing to do.
Yeah.
But anyway, I wanted to be a captain because I loved debating. And I loved figuring out, like, how is it possible to come back? Well, if they get an error, that's negative 20, and then I'll challenge the last question no matter what and plead my case, then we can get the question number 21 and win. Yeah. And it happened once. Nice. I was like, all right, we're so far behind, but if they err and then we get it right and then I'll challenge it, then we can get the extra points.
Yeah.
And it happened. And I challenged it before I even knew what I was going to do. I just started talking. I was like, well, you see, if you go to this verse and flip back to that verse, they looked it up and they're like, he's right.
So real quick, did anyone ever try to just quote an entire chapter and hope that what they said was
my mic?
No, you're good.
Okay.
I just want you to read this so you know I'm not going crazy. I found her.
Oh, man.
Okay. Read this first sentence. I'm going to read it.
Yeah, go ahead. No, this is the spelling bee girl. We can say her first name. It's common enough. It's
Christina.
Christina.
And I was right. It was Corpus Christi.
Speller number 223. Yeah. Christina.
Here's the first sentence in her bio.
That's too much.
Christina earned a perfect score at a state level Bible quizzing competition.
Wow.
That is a great tie up of the episode, I think. So
I like it.
I'll say she looks like a normal girl in the picture that they've displayed there, and not like a spell. If you were like, hey, pick a spelling bee girl out of here, I wouldn't have picked that one.
So she looks normal, so she probably wasn't that good.
Well, she didn't win.
She didn't win, no. So anyways, James, thanks for that insight. I really appreciate you providing that color commentary. Do you have any last words about anything, any shout outs you'd like to make? Any socials to plug, anything like that?
Can't think of anything right now, but I will.
Anything you want to plug, you can. We've had people plug academic papers. We've had people plug just a CD that you like or movie. If you want to plug your actual socials, you can. Or just be like, I saw this movie and I liked it. Or you can just pass.
I'm a recent fan of Bo Burnham.
Okay.
I don't know why it took me so long to find out about him.
Oh man, yeah, I've known about him since I was in high school.
Yeah,
I actually watched the episode that he made, the special he made over COVID.
Yeah,
I didn't love it. I was like, that's really weird.
What was the name of it? Do you remember?
I
know
Inside.
Okay, Inside. There you go.
And then I was like, well, that wasn't that great. Mm-hmm. And then my brother's like, no, you got to watch his earlier stuff.
Yeah.
And I watched it, and I was literally like, chills.
Yeah. So any of Bo Burnham's earlier shows or
you got a shout out from James. Free publicity. We should see if we can talk with his PR people to let him know that he got a major mention from our tens of subscribers.
Tens of listeners. All right, and real quick before we go, Mike hits us with those socials.
All right.
Where can you find us?
You can find us at YG Reunion Tour on Twitter, on Instagram at Youth Group Reunion Tour, or send in your questions to youthgroupreuniontour@gmail.com.
And until next time,
catch you on
the flip side.